Welcome to That's No Class. I'm Brian Berumen.
And I'm Morgan Darian.
Welcome back to the home of class. If this is your first time joining us, hi. We're so glad you're here. We're a talk show. And this week, we're talking news, something pretty silly, and then something totally different we've never done before. And closing it out, as always, with no class picks. It's easy. Just kick back. We're going to do all the work. Chill. It's all good. I have to make a correction to something that I said last week. We were talking about 7-Elevens with gas stations, and I said that there were none of them in California. I was wrong. So you don't remember this? We were talking about them.
You said there were some in...
There was 2 of these electric charging stations, but I said basically that overall that 7-Elevens with gas stations was not a California thing.
Right.
I spoke for the state of 30 million people.
Okay.
And I was wrong. So I just learned, seeing in a news story this week, that they do exist. And in fact, there's definitely one in Linwood.
Well, I think everyone will forgive you for that.
I hope so. But you know that I try to be journalistically accurate at all times. So I apologize to 7-Eleven, and I apologize to the people of Linwood who are maybe proud of their 7-Eleven gas station. Who knows?
Well, on that note, actually, my boss is going to go into business with me on my 7-Eleven cafe pitch.
The brilliant idea pitched right here. See, he was like Shark Tanking.
He was like, okay, he was like, let's do this.
Smart. No. I'll give you some seed money. All right, let's get to some news.
Now here's the news.
All right, so last week, Morgan told us all about 311 non-emergency calls in New York City. And the conclusion we reached at the end of it was, man, we really don't know anything about 311. So I promised that I would do a deep dive into this and try to answer everyone's burning questions about 311. Heard from hundreds of listeners. Not really. Nobody asked, but I'm doing it anyway. Like, where is 311? Who
I want to know.
311?
Yeah.
I wanted to know, too. What do they do? Is it only in New York? Here we go. The city of L.A. does have a 311.
Ooh.
And here's a list of services that they say that they can help with on their website.
Okay.
Animal services, including removing dead animals, catching loose animals, and freeing confined animals.
What? Okay.
Public right-of-way investigation, including streets and sidewalks, leaf blower complaints, illegal vending, tables and chairs in the wrong place, sign removal and water waste, parks and rec, graffiti and streetlights, homeless encampments, and sanitation, like picking up bulky items and trash and all the rest. So, friend, apparently these are the people that we're supposed to call when we chuck our Christmas tree in the alley and leave it there and hope that somebody...
Stop drawing attention to our deepest shame.
Maybe that woman who chided us worked for 311.
Maybe. I don't know.
So...
Can we complain about our own building's leaf blowers activities?
I think
that we
so.
Pay for?
So the crazy conclusion, the list, that's just a partial list. I mean, basically,
that's really funny.
It's kind of like what you said last week about New York.
Okay.
311 handles basically anything
that's wild.
that is not an emergency that is part of the quote-unquote city.
Okay.
Like if it's not private property and it's public in any way, it basically falls under the jurisdiction of the city, so you can call 311 about it. I never knew this.
Interesting. Yeah. They don't really, they don't have a hard sell.
They don't.
Anywhere.
Don't.
They're not visible.
Like, how are you supposed to know? People always say, call the city, call the city.
Yeah.
What they mean, basically, is this 311, apparently.
All right.
So
I like it.
It's wild. If you guys, I guess if you guys have any problem whatsoever, call 311.
There you go.
And actually, there is a 311 in dozens of major cities across the country.
Okay.
And even a couple smaller ones, also in Canada. Pretty widespread.
All right.
As a thing.
Maybe I should start complaining about some stuff.
I mean, yeah, I didn't even know I could complain about half of these things. So
thank you for getting to the bottom of that.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, so the New Yorker published a great story about a novelist and professor, H.G. Carrillo, who actually only published one novel, who died recently.
Okay.
His husband discovered after Carrillo's death that he completely fabricated his own backstory, changing the names of his siblings, changing what his parents did for work, where he was from. The article is so long, almost everyone he'd ever met had caught him in some type of huge lie. In his true history, he grew up in Detroit. In his made-up story, he came from Cuba. He became popular as a professor, especially to his Latinx students because he was Cuban and celebrated it. He was not Cuban at all. Couldn't speak Spanish, and there were a few people who came across his only novel, which had Spanish words in it, and they were like, "This guy's grammar and word usage is
really completely
bad at
Spanish."
Wrong." Yeah, but no one paid attention to them. And one guy even sent a letter to his college saying, "This guy's a fraud." Again, ignored. His own sister was like, "We don't understand how he got employed. If someone would have asked me, I would have told them, but nobody asked." She said their whole family just thought he was like being a persona in his author bio in his book because he changed his own name from Herman Glenn Carroll to H.G. Carrillo, and he changed his siblings' names from Maria, Susan, and Christopher to Maria, Susanna, and Cristobal. And they just thought his Wikipedia page like got his info wrong or something. They didn't know that he was just living a lie. And a bunch of his family and partners over time came to realize that the named people in his life weren't real. Like, he once claimed to adopt a kid that no one ever met. The name of his book? Losing My Espanish. Not spelling
Amazing.
Losing.
Amazing.
Spelling losing.
Amazing.
My Spanish. Espanish. Like he lost his Spanish. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, hold on.
Amazing.
Amazing. I have
Amazing.
I have many questions here.
Yeah.
So you say that his husband is the one who finally is like, "Yo, this wasn't real."
Yeah.
Did he lie to his husband too?
Yes.
So his husband was also operating under this,
Yes.
web of lies.
Yes.
Dang, that's rough, man.
Amazing.
That's rough.
His husband was like very forgiving, probably because he's dead.
Yeah.
And he loved him.
Yeah, that's...
Can you imagine?
No, I cannot.
One random...
Are you really from Wisconsin?
Yes. Well, I mean, I was born in
Among
Chicago,
other
but
places?
Yeah.
Did you ever once live
Lots
in
of
Wisconsin?
places.
Jeez Louise, man.
Losing my Wisconsin.
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 That is a wild tale. I mean,
It really is.
fake it till you make it, I guess, man.
My one little random note I love because it just shows you how someone can convince themselves of things was when his college was like, "We can't give you tenure because you only put one book out a while ago." And he was like, "I haven't been putting out books, but I've been writing hundreds of recommendation letters for my students, so you should give me tenure for that."
Well, maybe he did a great service for the world. Maybe he's helped launch so many careers because he
Maybe.
focused so much time and energy on these recommendation letters.
Yeah.
Don't
Isn't
judge this
that
man too
wild?
harshly.
I
You're
loved it.
weighed by the totality of your good works, right? In the end, when you're at the gates. So, don't judge
There
this
you
guy
go.
for lying his entire life, I guess.
So
That is a wild story.
You hear about people lying about major things like conning and stuff like that, but this, he really lived into it.
Yeah, that is a commitment
Yeah.
to that.
That's too much.
That's kind of cool, though. It's a great story.
wild.
It's a great story to hear on this show.
His husband did say, "I kind of respect him for it."
Yeah, exactly. He kept it. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to lie and you're going to lie big, you keep it up and you never crack and you never break. Never, ever.
One super interesting point his husband made was that race is, what is it? Race is a performance.
Sure.
And so he
I
made
get
the
that that's a
argument
thing.
that
He decided to be Cuban?
yeah.
It's like, hey, who are you to say I'm not Cuban?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like, okay.
hey, I am educated in that particular form of,
Yeah.
theory. So, hey, I can't, I
There you
guess.
go.
I guess.
I don't
Who am
know.
I to say? All right. Thanks so much for that story.
You're welcome.
That's a wild one.
Yeah.
The New Yorker. Oh, I'm glad they're giving you something when they're charging $50 for a tote bag. Hey, New Yorker. No class. Great story, though.
So funny.
Well, when we come back, we have got a debate. It's been a
Ooh,
while.
it
but
has
we
been a
got it.
while.
Here we go. Thanks so much for listening. We love having you here. We'll be right back.